Welcome back. In part 1 of the video, we built a number of starfighter components that will attach around a core frame. Now we're going to build the cockpit and that core frame itself. Let's roll. Let's start in on the cockpit, and we'll begin with this base. And you can see here there's a jumper and a plate bracket. And into the jumper, we're going to put the seat. So this is just a clip and some brown elements. And we'll go there. Okay. And of course our pilot. Then can go up against the backrest. Great. Then we have some first part of the control panel. And this is comprised of some zip line elements, some ice pick elements, some hinges and clips, and it's going to connect right into the front of that bracket below. Okay. Great. Then we have a brick with some side studs, a couple of plates. Into that, another plate with 2 headlight bricks. Okay. And then this little assembly of plates and tiles will come in below the snot element. And then we'll cap that with one of these modified tiles that has 2 studs. This is the kind of strong base back of the cockpit. And then to each of those exposed studs, we're adding these side rests for the seat. Okay. And then up around the back, these are arched bricks. And just put a nice curve up around the back of the cockpit area. Okay. And then all of this subassembly will connect back. Like so. Great. Okay. And then another control panel element. You can see the hinge brick, headlight brick. And then here on the back of this cone is a Technic brick with an axle hole. And there's a half plate gap that we're going to use for the canopy later. Okay. And that plugs into this control panel assembly. And then this portion then comes into the front of the cockpit area. Oops. Okay. Great. Then we'll work on these components. Each of these has 3 of these 1x2 to 2x2 brackets, a little bit of a red grilled cheese just for interest. And it'll fit in here just on the side of the cockpit component. Fasten it like so. Okay, and it's symmetrical. So we'll do the same thing on this side. Great. And lastly is the bubble canopy itself. And this will connect at 4 studs. And it ends up being quite helpful structurally as well. And that's the completed cockpit component. Let's work on the core. So at the bottom of this, we have one of these plate brackets, headlight bricks, brick with side stud, another plate bracket on top. And then on top of that, you can see the Technic brick, another bracket, and a tile, and that'll fit in just like so. And then to the side of this, we're going to mount these here clips and plates with handles, and then a panel on top. And the panel, you can see, is to just bring it perfectly work around where this Technic brick is extending. Okay. And then on each side, we're going to add one of these. It's a brick with side stud, headlight brick, 2 more bricks with side stud. And the back of the headlight brick will connect here. Okay. And that's symmetrical. The same thing on this side. Great. All right, now we have 2 of these components. There's stacked plates. There's a cheese slope on top. They fit in here and here. And so this bit has 2 75-degree slopes on each side. You can see some stacked corner plates underneath. And there are 4 studs this is going to connect to. So it gives some strength to those extensions in the left and right, and also connect into the core. Like so. Nice and tight. Okay. Then this bit, you can see the 4x4 wedge without any studs and some tiles. And that will connect here, and it ends up connecting to 4 studs, basically at both sides of that component, both ends. Oops. Okay. Make sure everything's good. Excellent. So then on each side we have an inverted 75-degree slope with some cheese on top. That'll connect from the side. We'll connect the bottom of it later. And that bit's ready. All right, for the lower part of the core, looks like this. You can see there's 2 2x2 plates with some bricks with side stud. And then that plugs into the bottom of a plate with a bracket, which has another plate with a bracket. And bricks with side stud on the top. Okay. And then onto this, we're going to add 2 of these bricks with side studs. These, in particular, these 2 bricks become very important later. And this lower core then will connect then to the upper one. Oops. Put that back. Okay, just make sure everything is nice and tight. Get everything cinched together. Right, looks good. Now the cockpit element that we built before snaps on right here. So from below. And then we're going to use a 2x2 tile from above. We'll connect the cockpit element back to that panel. Okay, so the core and the cockpit end up being quite strong. So here where the cockpit connects into the core, you can see the 1x3 tile sticks out by exactly a half plate. And I did that intentionally to fill the gap. And then up above, the blue section is also a half plate reveal. And I think both of those look really nice, personally. And then lastly, for this component, we have these bar elements. And we're going to have attach one of these to each side. Okay, and then the core and cockpit are ready. Now we're going to work on these big components of the frame. There are two of these. They're symmetrical. This is the one on the right. And each of these are fairly sophisticated. So it has to be strong in order to support the front prong and the wings and so forth. And also a lot of work went in to get just the right perfect shape with all the curves and angles right around the front of the prong and then up on top. So here goes. Start with this component. It has these two jumpers on top. You can see the headlight brick on the side. Okay. And then into one of the jumpers, we'll add this. It's a plate with a clip, plate with a bar. That's going to support the side winding extension. And into the other jumper, we'll add this component. It's a clip, and then a 1x2 with a bar. And then in the back, so two 1x3 plates, some side studs. We'll flip it around. And this goes in there. Okay. And then we'll take this segment. It's a 33-degree 2x3 slope. You can see the headlight brick and a brick with side stud into the back of that. Inverted 75-degree slope. And then this portion, these two studs here, will then lock back into that portion we were working on earlier. It looks like this, and now we have studs going in many different directions. Bring in another inverted slope with tiles on top, and that will connect like so. Okay, and then we'll set that aside for just a moment. Now we'll move on to this portion. This is mostly studs up. You can see the Technic brick with the two holes in the center. There are also two Technic bricks on the side. And over on this side, there's 4 bricks with side studs, then a little assembly made of a 2x2 corner plate and a 1x2 plate. Then plugging into this, we have this component. I'll just spin it around. A bunch of headlight bricks, studs on all the sides, and it just sits in the front like so. This is a Technic brick with a 1x1 plate, and then into that is this 45-degree inverted slope with tiles on top. And then this plate with bar and tile will go right on top of that. Like so. And then we have a 18-degree slope, the 75-degree inverted slope, and then the tile on top of that inverted slope. We'll just hold that there for the moment. We'll fasten it from below in just a second. Then that segment that we set aside earlier comes back. And we will attach it in here. Okay, nice and tight. Okay, it's like a little puzzle piece. Then we have this component, just mostly studs up. You can see one of these plate brackets, brick with side set above it. Put this back on, and then just kind of spin this around. You can see the slope. And this is going to plug in perfectly to the side of that segment we were working on earlier. Okay, so it will look like so. And this back portion of the frame is ready. For the front portion of the frame, we'll start with this component. So you can see all the studs along the side. There's one place where there's a brick with studs on two sides, and then back here there's studs also on two sides and headlight bricks plugged into that. So, and then we have this component. You can see several Technic bricks, the pin, and then we're going to take those Technic bricks and plug it right into the studs on the top of that first bit. And then across the side here we have this component with some plates. And this is going to lock in here across the top and make this very strong. Okay. So we'll set that aside for the moment. So starting with this core, it's a bracket, there's a headlight brick, Technic brick, another Technic brick. And we're going to plug on top of this this series of plates. There are 2 corner plates here. And that'll go right on top of the Technic brick. All right. Then next, we have 2 brackets, a brick with side studs, and a Technic brick. It goes there. And then on this, we'll add a 2x3 plate. Let's lock this segment together. And then the top here is a large tile. There's a bracket with a cheese slope and a mud guard in the front. And that's to give it that arch. And then we'll add some curved bricks. Okay. And then on the side here, this is a brick with side stud with some cheese. It's going to extend in the front towards the mud guard. The same thing on this side. Okay. And then once that's in place, the curve looks really nice. So the cheese slope lines up perfectly, both from the side and from the front. Right. Now another finishing piece, tile on a brick with side stud. This is going to form a lower curve. Small element, so 2 corner plates, some cheese. That's going to sit underneath a part that's coming up. Now we'll move on to some more connective tissue. This component has 2 Technic bricks, a brick with side stud, another Technic brick, a brick with side stud. And we'll put it right under those brackets. Okay. And with that in place, we'll take this element back we were working on before. That's a piece that was here for strength. And this will come right underneath, snap in nice and snugly. And now we have a very strong support for the prong. Over on this side, so now we have this curved brick, some plates. This would be a kind of cowl that will snap in here. And now we have this symmetrical curve underneath, so finished from below. Okay. Then we have a hinge brick, some more of those curved bricks, and this will connect on here, and the geometry makes that just perfect from the top. And then moving on, so we have this piece underneath this large tile. You can see the brick with side studs, Technic brick. Okay. Oops. It was right. Okay. And then this will connect on top of that support. And with that, the geometry is really tight. There's no gap here looking from the top. It's nice. All right, another finishing bit under the large tile. You can see a bracket. And then on one of those bracket studs, there's this brick with a side stud. There's a slope with a cutout. And this is just be a finishing piece on the outside of the prong support. It also adds a lot, some additional strength. Great. Then we have another mud guard with a brick and a corner plate. Oh, oops. And it sits like so. And now we can add the cylinder element back in that Technic brick, and it will fit perfectly with the mud guard around the top and the cheese slips below. Okay, another finishing element. This one has a 1x2 to 2x2 bracket, some curved slopes on top. Okay. This one will connect from below, so it's going to use that stud reversal. Slide right up underneath there, and at the top the cheese slope comes in just underneath that element on the hinge brick. Okay. The curves look good. Next, we have this component. It's a headlight brick. It's Technic brick, headlight brick, headlight brick. And there's a half plate gap between these cheese slopes. And the stud on the headlight brick is going to go right into that Technic brick. Back here. All right. And then on the right side of the prong, we have this. It's a door rail, two slopes with cutout door rails for spacing. And that will plug right into another Technic brick. Okay. And then lastly, we have this component. So, and that will go right here. And then the prong support is complete. Now we'll bring both of those big components back. So the prong support and the other one, and we will put them together like so. So there's several points where they're connecting. Just get everything nice and tight. Okay. And then from below this pin that we left before, we'll put that in, and we'll seal the two components together. Okay, just make sure everything's good. And then lastly, some plates and a brick with side stud. And this also will join those two large components together. Great. So just before we do the final frame assembly, there's a few pieces that will be necessary. This is a component that has a Technic beam, some side studs, and a 1x8 tile. Okay. So we have this element made mostly out of plates. Okay. Two of these guys, each of these have a side stud and a 33-degree slope, and some cheese. And then this beam element, so two long Technic beams for strength, little Technic brick on top. Okay. And then each of these bits in the back, these are just for decoration. It's a Technic brick. Okay. And we're ready to assemble the frame. All right, so let's put the core frame together. I'll start with that big element from the left, and take this little bit of plates, attach it underneath. bring in the cockpit and the central core, connect that, especially back here to those red brick with side studs in the rear. Okay. Do the same thing for the right side. Okay, get that connected in at both points. There we go. Good. And then below we'll add those little bits we just made that have the side studs on them for each side. And that will allow us to then connect this Technic beam element, which then also fastens up underneath the that central core. Good. And then lastly, that assembly with the big Technic beams will come in from the back. And this will bring everything else together. So get that cinched up. Just check and make sure everything's tight. Right. And the frame is ready. In the next video, we'll put everything together and assemble the final starfighter.